came into the stars we rise. Oh.
Welcome back today, Starseed. So today we're actually going to talk about just the overall contribution of starseeds and what it means in this era in time. And to assist me with that, I've got my astrology wheel on today, and it's just got all of the zodiac signs, meaning I can channel all of their energy. So the fiery passion of all the fire signs of, Aries, Sag, and Leo, the intuitive energies of Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, and the grounding nature of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and just letting this conversation take us wherever it's going to take us via Gemini and Libra and Aquarius. So let's dive in. So today I was just sitting with the concept of all right, we've got America's 250th birthday, which pattern tracking via history, empires are built and deconstructed within, not exactly, but within that 250 year span. And it's kind of like we go through the whole journey of the zodiac wheel during that time. And what's really interesting to me, and I was talking to my sister and my dad about this the other day, is what's really interesting to me is that we are alive here and now in this moment with so much change happening. And it's really interesting because we are in a space where you don't really get to keep your head in the sand. And the more you try to do that, the louder things get. And I feel like this is happening simply because there is a mass awakening happening. And it's so interesting to me. I'm going to talk about the age of Aquarius. So Pluto is a generational planet, and what that means is it takes Pluto itself a long time to move through any single zodiac sign. So if you look at Pluto in Capricorn over the last decade and a half, the corporate structure has really turned into this rise and grind situation. You're chasing that carrot constantly. It's about the dollar bill. It's about all of these go things so you can attain what? The what being what they've told us success is, which is the big house, the nice boat, whatever it is, okay? And now, so let's see. Oh, and we have Zelda making an appearance. Hi, Zelda. What happened just earlier this year is Pluto made its way into Aquarius. And so with that energy, we are now going to see, how you look at transits is basically what planet is it? So look at the energy of that. So we still have Pluto, which is the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's about transformation. And now it's in Aquarius. So you look at the energies of Aquarius, which is very humanitarian based. It's unique. It's futuristic. It's innovative. And you blend those two energies. We are definitely seeing a shift, and we're all experiencing it now of, hey, we're not really all out for our own selves anymore. We want things to work in a way that is collective, in a way that is community, in a way that is humane. And it's really interesting because we're in the midst of a narcissistic collapse. And if you have any experience with narcissists or that type of thing, we'll not go super in depth with that, but it's gonna get louder before things kind of settle down. So with all of that, circling back to America's birthday. Zelda. So we are in this space. Okay, you want to come here? Okay, we're getting situated with Miss Zelda Marie here. Come here. Yeah. Okay. You've got something to say about it too. It's her official birthday. We pulled some tarot to confirm what her birthday was, and we learned. So she wants to be featured on this episode of transformation and starseed contribution, huh? Okay. Circling forward and moving forward. With this energy of Pluto and Aquarius, it's so fascinating to me that this is the time where the overall collective is now experiencing a greater awakening, okay? And Aquarius is also has a lot of like technology based energy as well. So that's why we're seeing this huge spike in AI, and people have a lot to say about it one way or another. And it's really interesting because it's like, yes, there is some benefit, but it's almost like people are more willing to take that look of like, it's affecting our environment, it's affecting, overall cost of living for people and so forth. So these are some of the themes that are just kind of barely beginning, and we are going to be in the age of Aquarius for like the next 20 years. And so over the next 2 decades, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. So I was pretty much having this conversation with my sister and my dad, and I was really just sitting with the concept of like, okay, we choose our birth charts, we choose when we come down here, we choose our family and our friends and our soul contracts, and it's just such a joy and delight that we don't necessarily remember that until we do. And I was grappling with the question of like, why did we choose to come down at this time? During this age, especially as a millennial myself, I'm like, I mean, we've seen so much stuff. We've seen wars and crises, and we've seen a lot of these big things. And in turn, I feel like a lot of millennials, I mean, one of the big things, because millennials were born with Pluto in Scorpio, a large majority anyway. I find it so fascinating because Scorpio is, it's that really deep, intuitive sign. Like it's the unexplored ends of the ocean, and it's the ebbs and flows of the dark parts of the ocean that people don't really know that much about. That's millennials. And emotionally, I feel like millennials have kind of excavated this really profound groundwork for healing, and being willing to take that look in the mirror, being willing to heal the generational trauma, being willing to have those conversations around boundaries and advocating for themselves. And it's come at a slower pace, but it's also looking at where so many of us are at now and how we're rippling our own energy out. It's just really exciting and fascinating because we are in the space to make big waves and big changes. And then it's so easy to also think like, okay, well, what do I have to contribute? What do I have to say that someone else isn't already saying, or that someone can't put together more eloquently, or that someone doesn't have more funds to accomplish this or that or whatever, right? It's so easy to fall into that headspace of like, well, yeah, I could do it, but someone else could probably do it better. Okay. Here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. No one has what you have to offer. We've talked about this before in the sense of like, you are the only version of you. There's only one of you. And Starseed, you incarnated in this lifetime during this time for a specific reason, for specific gifts, and for your specific awakening and what that has to contribute. Point blank. And I feel like a lot of my personal experience is I have definitely put this pressure on myself. I feel like I've talked about it before, where it's just like, okay, well, what if I'm not contributing enough, or what if how I'm doing it isn't enough? And it's like, I love the ego. It's just meant to keep us safe. It's definitely, for me personally, just with past experiences with witch wounds and being seen and the people pleasing and just caring what people may think, it's totally valid for my ego to be like, okay, hold on. We've been seen before. People have shared their thoughts and opinions, and it led us to this space of like shelling back in and moving back to what we're good at. Okay, for right now, I invite you to take that look and just have an honest conversation with yourself. Do you feel like what you're doing aligns with your starseed purpose? If yes, great. I applaud you and I love that for you, and keep doing more of that, because we need that level of authenticity and unique energy, especially because Aquarius is very much the most unique and eccentric sign. In the age of Pluto in Aquarius, the more you lean into that, the more natural these things of, the abundance and the money and the things. But in reality, when you're doing what you love and what's aligned with you, these things just flow easily and naturally to you. I know I'm definitely not the first person that's ever said that. But what I do want you to take away is, if you are unclear on what your purpose is, I invite you to just go outside, sit in some grass, or talk to a tree about it. And even though we're past the point of that feeling like woo-woo. At this point, if you feel like that's too much, I definitely am not the starseed for you to guide you through this. But I will say, if you are in the space to go and have an authentic conversation with a tree, or even with your spirit guides, even if you don't know who they are or don't know what their name is, you have an entire community of angels watching over you and guiding you through, and they're genuinely just waiting for you to talk to them. So have a seat and be intentional, and you can close your eyes or you can light a candle and look at that. Whatever feels true for you, sit down and have that conversation of like, hey, spirit guides, I realize I may not be completely aligned with what I'm here to do, especially during this grand awakening and this deconstruction of an empire and a reconstruction that's going to come, and it is already happening. And just sit and wait and create space for an answer to come through. And even if you are a physical action oriented type of person, offer symbolic space, clear off a shelf. Tell your spirit guides, this is me energetically showing you physically that I'm clearing off a space for an answer to come through. And just see what comes in and trust the answer that comes through. I will say it took me a long time to realize personally that sometimes you'll hear a voice in your head and it's your own, and you think, oh, I'm just thinking something. Because when I think thoughts, it's in my voice. And when I get a download, it's also in my voice. And I've learned that is actually my higher self channeling, through me in this human vessel and giving me clarity. And it took me a long time to fully embody and lean into and trust that voice. And so if you're finding yourself resisting, that's just information. Don't feel bad about that. Don't negate the answer that came through. Just acknowledge that there is a resistance and sit with that, journal about it, and maybe get to the root of why you're experiencing that resistance. Is it past religious trauma? Is it past, just whatever, friends, family? things you've experienced that have basically taught you not to trust yourself. And it's time to heal that. We are now in a time and space where it's all starseeds on deck. It is love and light. It's the Care Bear stare. It's the, step up and show up and be who you are meant to be in this lifetime. I mean, one day we will all be gone. And no one will remember what we, felt insecure about that one time or what have you. People are so respectfully self-centered and up in their own thoughts that they aren't thinking about you in that way. And if they are, honestly, more power to you. You're doing something that makes waves. So with all of that said, I did whip out our Starseed Oracle, and I will post a picture of it next time, like this time. I didn't do that last time. But we are going to ask our spirit guides what us as starseeds need to do in this age of Aquarius, as far as with all of the change happening, with all of the big waves happening. I mean, it's just so, me personally, I've felt very drained. I'm very sensitive to the energy, especially to the collective. And I know that so many of us are experiencing all of the astrological changes. We're experiencing all of the humanity changes. We're experiencing, the people who are also going through their spiritual awakenings. And overall, it just can be a lot sometimes. So with all of that said, we are going to pull a card. And it, again, is from that Rebecca Campbell. Oh, let's see if it'll zoom. The Rebecca Campbell Starseed Oracle guidebook comes with it too. The Starseed Oracle. Okay. Knock on it, cleanse the deck. Spirit guides, what message do we deserve as starseeds during this time? That one. And I will always just shuffle until a card flies out. Oh. Okay, I love that. Ooh, yep. Okay, so for sure two. So the first one is fall into my arms. And the second one is forge, don't follow. So I'm going to read from the book and I will show you guys the picture. But for those of you listening, and if you're not watching it on YouTube and can't see, the fall into my arms is a really pretty, it looks like a cove and there's a being holding another being. It's just them standing in like a little cave, and it has some really pretty turquoise, etheric-y blue looking. And it said, the bottom says, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. All right, let's see what that says in the book. The Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, that being human can be lonely and confusing, that the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source, but at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often, we see things either as good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded, and when things are bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow, and it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and the lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into life, the agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, hurt, sorrow, fears, burdens, and doubts, to lay them on her altar, to fall fully into her arms, to remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more truthfully you can say, I've truly lived. Starseed activation. Whisper the following: I am ready to embrace the extremes of my life. I lay all that I am carrying onto the Great Mother's altar and fall completely into her arms. Okay, I really love that. It's interesting because my friend and I were literally talking about the ebbs and flows of life, the highs and lows, and I was just going through a time and I'm telling her, I'm like, I know my higher self is just looking down like, oh my gosh, yay, she's crying again. I love that for her. I'm a fire moon, remember? I'm a Sag moon. I cope with humor. So as I was, crying and telling her, but also laughing, I'm just like, this is what life is about. We are here to experience all of it. And if whatever is pulling you or calling you is kind of scary, go for it anyways. We just had Jupiter move into Leo. So Jupiter itself is the planet of expansion and just luck and good vibes, and it will amplify anything it touches. And so if you're stuck in this low vibration space, it's going to amplify that. And if you're willing to channel Leo energy of being brave, being seen, doing it imperfectly, showing up with love, and just being the lion that zodiac is symbolic of, doing these things, you'll be rewarded for it. And, the plus one is look for where you have Leo in your chart. And those are specifically areas in your life that will be amplified. So love that. Thank you, spirit guides. That was fall into my arms. And I graciously accept and receive that. I am also willing to give all of the doubt and insecurities that come with being authentic. Can feel scary until it doesn't anymore. So just keep being you and practicing what's true to you. Oh, hi, Zelda. Yeah, can I get a meow in agreement? See? Another spirit guide agreeing with that message. All right, the second card is Forge, Don't Follow. And the bottom says, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. And Zelda is back for round, I don't know, girl, is this 3 or 4 of making an appearance? So, yeah, okay. The bottom says, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. Which, that message alone for Starseeds, period. Like, be the leader you wish you had. Be the change you wish to see. Like, period. That's the sentence. So this one, the bottom half is etheric, and there's a girl dancing in the bottom half of the card, and then the top half, it blends into earth lands, and it's really lush and full, and honestly, Lord of the Rings coded. So, all right, here is the message. If you wait until the path is perfectly paved, you won't be forging your own path, and you'll likely not even take the first step. Don't let a small detail like being unable to find someone to show you the way be the reason you don't step forward and lead. Let it be the reason that you do. The most courageous and needed leaders are the ones who don't wait for permission, or until the morning they wake up feeling ready. They take a deep breath, put one foot in front of the other, and figure it out as they go. They don't wait for someone to lead them, they lead themselves. This is a card for leaders. You're here to pave a path that hasn't been walked before, to go first and to lead the way for others who are calling you in. If you feel misrepresented in the media, step forward for all of those who feel misrepresented. If no one is speaking out on the topics you feel passionate about, share your unique voice. There is no one on earth who comes close to possessing your unique combination of skills, gifts, and life experience. Don't look to those who have come before you to work out your path. Leaders must forge their own. Do it for your daughter, do it for the younger you, do it for the leaders who will follow. When you go first, you make it easier for others to follow your lead. Forge, don't follow. Starseed Soul Inquiry: how are you being called to forge rather than follow? How can you be the leader you wish you had? I feel like that's confirmation. literally, that this is how we started the episode, is you have unique gifts that no one else has to offer. And I feel like what's so cool is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I've been thinking a lot about, like, for example, like the farmer's market. Someone makes sourdough bread, okay? The sourdough bread that they make could give someone the passion or the initiative to invite their family or their loved ones to come and experience the sourdough or to have a meal together. And maybe at that meal, a conversation is initiated that creates healing within the family. And maybe that conversation never would have happened had that person not followed their dream, gone to the farmer's market, and started selling sourdough bread. Like, we genuinely, as starseeds, and I feel this very deeply, we may never know how significant the actions we take towards our calling, our purpose, our dream may change someone's life. And I feel like if not you, then who? And if not now, then when, right? I had some very beautiful spiritual experiences, and when someone shared that with me, it's like, yeah, I mean, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? I'm not the first person to talk about astrology. I'm not the first person to talk about starseeds. I'm not the first person to talk about, oracle cards or any of these things, but I am the first person to do it in my way, because there is only one me. Like, I just don't know how else to emphasize. It's like, sure, it's easy to kind of get into that headspace of like, well, the comparison game, right? Like, and as I said earlier, just stop that. Like, it doesn't do you any good. Treat yourself like the beautiful, ambitious, magnificent, caring, nurturing, glorious starseed you are, because you are. Like, if you're listening to this, you are all of that and more. And I'm happy to be here and remind you of that. And I'm happy to show up and communicate with you in the way that I know how. And it's just one of those things where you'll never know unless you do it. And I promise you that your gift deserves to be shared. It deserves to be seen. It deserves to be experienced. And don't waste it. Don't waste this lifetime being afraid of what other people will think. Don't, like I said a couple episodes ago, you are the only one that spends 100% of your time with you. Are you going to look back one day on this life and regret how brave you were? Wow, I was really brave to go to the farmer's market and start my sourdough company. No, but I promise you, you would look back and be like, wow, I wonder what my life would have been like if I had taken that step. And something I do know is, if you are unwilling to share your gift, your guides will shift that purpose to someone who is. I don't say that to get the reaction, well, fine, then they can just do it. That's not it. That's not the point. You were chosen for it first. And it's important enough that it needs to get out there. And so, especially, just tying this all together, especially in this time where we are going through major changes and shifts in this era that we are currently in and living in and chose to be in, choose to be the one that makes a change and a difference and contributes something meaningful. And, that can even look as simple as creating signs and, hunk to spread love or something. I don't know. Whatever is coming through for you, trust that. And the best thing you can do as a starseed is keep listening to your gut, keep refining your process, and keep flexing your intuitive muscles, because the more you practice that, the more you flex those, the more you embody that, the more you converse with your guides, the easier it's going to get. And, I just choose to be in the reality that there is so much love to be shared and spread, and humanity itself craves that. And that's why we're here, Starseeds, is to share all of that and to walk beside those who are going through their own spiritual awakening. So that's all I have for you today. And as always, thank you for being here. I'm really grateful, and it's been really fun looking back. I know I haven't done a ton of episodes at this point, but I do feel myself getting more and more comfortable sharing my thoughts and feelings and where things go. And if anything, take that as, I don't know, an example or consolation that you too can become more comfortable with leaning into your purpose. And I really am excited to see what that is and the difference you guys all make. So love and light, Starseed, and until next time. Thanks for tuning in today, Starseed. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you'd like to explore pieces that align with your Starseed purpose, visit astrologyaesthetic.com. Trust yourself. You're exactly where you're meant to be.